Hey, folks, this is Lonzo, the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce, editor of the Hub City Legend newspaper, and the host of the Mentality Show right here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever the case may be. Today, we're back again talking about some men issues. As we talked about before, men have a lot of issues, but there's no place to go and talk about them that I know of. And today I've gathered three brothers. Two of them you've seen before. One is a new visitor, Mr. Shakir. How you doing, Shaq?
I'm great. I'm great. Glad to be here.
Kevin, co-host, and Kurt. How you doing, Kevin?
Man, I'm alive and kicking, 2 toes above ground.
And my man Kurt. How you doing, Kurt?
Full of gratitude, brother.
That's a good place to be, man. That's a good place to be. Today, our title is Married with Children. Married with Children. That is a man issue that we all have had side conversations about, and we all are dealing with various things from different levels, our own children, stepchildren, whatever the case may be. So as we sit here and talk about fatherhood and being married, folks, I'm going to kick it off with, I'm going to let our guests have it first. Shaq, what are some of your experiences being married with children?
Oh man, it's been very beautiful, interesting, challenging. A lot of growth has occurred. It's been interesting. You know, my situation, kind of like Curtis, is that I'm married with a wife and three daughters.
Okay.
Right, and so that has brought its own set of challenges, being the only male in the house, and from different perspectives and how you deal with things. Sometimes you can't be as direct. You have to think about the totality and their emotions and whatnot. And so it's been interesting. Thank God I'm on the back end of that. With all of them being pretty much grown, but there's a lot of experiences that I've gathered along the way, for sure.
Kurt, go ahead next. I know you've got some experiences being married with children. Talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything that Shakir has said, I resonate with that for sure. The challenges is kind of the biggest aspect of it is that there's a lot of sacrifice that's involved of your individuality or your philosophy around life, your perspective in general, because as men, we share an entirely different perspective of how we see reality, how we see the outcome. By nature, we are problem solvers. And so, but we have to approach it when we have a partner, whether it's a house full of women, like ours is much harder because they don't necessarily share your perspective around things. And you have to, approach it in a way that translates to them exactly what you're trying to convey. And doing that over a number of years, 10, 20, 30 years is relatively exhausting. So that's really the sacrifice that's involved in that.
Kevin, what's your experiences like that?
Oh man, look, these two fellas right here, man. That's a beautiful thing. I got three baby mamas, and I got 4 daughters with 2 sons. And let me tell you, it's been a roller coaster ride when it comes to being a father, being a husband, having these different households, bruh. That's why God is gray on my daggone face, man. Most of the stuff I didn't try to shave off so people wouldn't see it, cause it'd be a mess, man. It's a struggle, but I mean, it all comes out, bruh. It's a beautiful thing at the end.
I'm different from every. Well, me and Kevin kind of similar. I got 3 daughters, 2 sons, and it's sometimes you have to juggle and be daddy in multiple households, and boy, that can be very. That's a balancing act. That's a balancing act because the woman at the house, if your kid across town got a problem, you got to go see about it, regardless of how you feel about it. And that's the part that everybody don't handle the same way. I can't let any of my kids outside the house feel that they're less important than the ones in the house. And that right there is a balancing act. Sometimes that can come with some mama issues, or in some cases some daddy issues. And man, I don't wish that on no brother. I know a lot of brothers deal with it, but it's one of them situations that you have to be very, very careful how you walk, what you say, especially when you're dealing with girls. Even with my sons, I done whooped all their asses. I ain't never touched one of my daughters. You can't. You damn near can't, fellas. How do y'all got 3 girls in the house? Have you had to do anything to discipline them?
Almost for sure. I somehow got wise enough to do it when they were earlier, so I didn't have to worry about it when they were older, right?
Okay.
So I think the last one of mine, where I literally had to pull out the belt or whatnot was about 12, or 11 or 12. But interesting thing about girls is that I didn't have to do it much with them. Once they got to a certain period, I could just tell them I'm disappointed. I tried that. I read that somewhere, right? And one of my daughters did something that was kind of off the cusp, and I just looked at her and I just said, I'm so disappointed in you. Man, she folded up like he smashed a can, right? And I had to save face, right? Because man, she would have probably preferred me spanking her at that moment versus saying that to her. And I learned a lot as a father of young ladies at that point. Man, the esteem, the regard they hold for daddy is on a whole nother level, right? And it's really interesting. That was a learning moment for me. And so I knew, like, man, she folded up so bad where I realized I never really wanted to pull that card again.
Yep. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what about you, Kevin?
Man, that's a step. I got steps on mine because my first one, I was young, dumb, full of cum. I was 19 years old when I had her, so it was a learning experience. So with her, yeah, I'll admit I put the belt on her a couple of times. And that's the one I told you that bucks her chest like a man, but she's a female.
Okay.
But then my second to the oldest, man, all I do is slap the wall, and she'll just come to attention. And then now my twin, I would have been a cute girl, man, but my twin, man, that was the one. That one, man, she is woo. That's one of the ones I got to constantly talk to. But she like that female version of me. And it's like, man, I got it. But then this last one, my baby girl, that's the most, I would say, one of the ones that I didn't have to do too much with. Just conversation, like Shaq said. If I tell her, you know what, baby, I'm highly disappointed in you, man, her whole face would drop. She'd be like, man, I'm so, I didn't mean it, Daddy. And it's like she gonna do whatever it takes to overcome whatever obstacle that was put up. So I got 4 different personalities, man, when it comes to females. So it was, it was something else, man. It's a learning curve.
And I can imagine with Kurt and Shaq here, they raised their daughters from day one. Nobody else, everybody been in the house. So you have to learn their personalities and everybody deals with everything, their emotions differently. And you just can't come in the house and just start talking shit like you do with fellas. Get your, we do fellas a whole lot different. Get your, whoa, okay? And like my son, I've been on him all day long to do something. And I talk crazy to him, and he expects sometimes. But if I talk to him crazy, my daughter, if she's around, she'll get upset, and because she takes it totally different. The guys, we can do them like that, but the girls, they don't too much. But for men, now mama can talk crazy if she want to, but from daddy, they don't expect that. That's kind of wild. And I think dads get put on under a different spotlight in some cases, because sometimes dad is expected to do things that mama ain't expected to do. And that's something that's always
Yeah,
confused me.
that's the operative word there. There's a whole different expectation, from the dad. Mom could do the same thing, but it just comes off different. You know, I got two babies in the '90s, and then I got a 2000 baby, and so they're I had to discipline all of them completely different.
Mm,
You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't the things that was effective on my oldest wasn't effective on my middle daughter, and nothing I did to the other two did with the oldest and my middle daughter was effective on my youngest. And
mm,
so it was just relearning all over again because of those personality differences, and they just inherently have a expectation of how dad is supposed to, you know, be with them. That whole disappointment thing that Shakir was talking about is real. That means something to that particular daughter. They have a
Mm-hmm.
certain level of expectation and self confidence about themselves, and the last thing they want to do is disappoint the person that they trust the most. So you
right.
know, that's real talk.
You know, what's really interesting is that my oldest just turned 25 Saturday, so I'm 25, 23, and a 20 now. And we never talked about, we never, this boyfriend girlfriend thing was never something that we allowed in our home until you're at least 16 and you're on the right track. Then you could bring them to the house and we can have a conversation and whatnot. And I was always, using the phrase, lay down your foundation first, and then everything else will fall into place. Lay down your foundation. And so when they each got 16, I sat them down, had a conversation with them. Was like, okay, your stuff is together. Let's go ahead and if you date anyone, you like anyone, bring them by and because I wanted that opportunity. Here it is, them at their ages, man, no one has brought anyone home, right?
Mm,
And so the understanding they've gone off to college or whatnot, and I know, man, I'm not, they probably had their experimentations and all of that, but no one has brought anyone home. No one, they don't even want to let me know what's going on. They shield it from me. And so that's very interesting. At some point, as the mom says, when they find that right one, they will bring them home. But it's the expectations, the reverence they have for me in my position that they haven't even brought anyone home until they know it's probably the right one, right? And so that's something, man, that I've had to learn along the way and kind of digest and process. Having children, and then whether male or female, you're learning as you go about certain your abilities, your weaknesses, your strategies. Like you're constantly having to evaluate each of those things as you're moving through your daily life and dealing with situations, because you want to be effective, right? You want the best outcome for yourself and your children, and so that part of fatherhood is always evolving.
mm, okay.
Uh, can I want to add a little something to what Shaq was saying about that. Um, you were saying how your daughter said, they haven't brought anyone home. You know, in our experience, it wasn't necessarily about the daughters not finding the right one. With us, it was not bringing them home because of us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want,
Mm-hmm.
it was a tendency of, well, dad's going to pick them apart. And mom is
Mm-hmm.
always overly invested into, well, who are your parents and what are the background and, wanting to get so
Mm-hmm.
involved. And that's just what parents do. But sometimes it puts them in a very uncomfortable position because
Mm-hmm.
everybody doesn't have two-parent household, come from a, good neighborhood. They kind of have some struggles in life. It was dealing with, I don't want you to be judgmental about this individual when I understand all of that other circumstantial stuff, about them. So they prevented bringing them or presenting them to us sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not like that anymore. But early on, it was
Yeah.
no. After a couple of times of bringing people around, and we were like, yeah, I'm not too sure about this, this individual or
Mm-hmm.
that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They were just like, nope, I'm not gonna. You
Yeah.
guys are
Have
way
you
too
ever,
invested.
has anybody ever had to check a dude at the door, come to see your daughter, and he just was not, dude, this ain't the one. Okay. I mean, you ever had, I had a guy come by one time and the nigga had a 40 ounce in his hand.
Oh,
Negro.
come on, man.
Where you think you going with that? Who you think you coming to see? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. No, you already proved I ain't the sir you think I am. No, dude, you got to get up out of here.
Right.
I told him, I said he came to my door with a 40 ounce in his hand. Okay, no problem. I understand. She cut him loose. No, dude.
Wow.
No, he walked up to the door with a 40 ounce in his hand. Nah, man. Nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work at all. We gonna stop this right now.
Yeah, that's wild.
I had that too. I had that. Well, mine wasn't 40 ounce. Mine was my second oldest Q. She had a cat she was dealing with, and he was one of them little knuckleheads trying to gangbang or gangbang, whatever he was. You know, one of the ones coming to the house always calling you man. You know, don't call you sir, don't call you Mr. Nothing. It's all right, man. You know, his pops was whatever, and his mom's was whatever too. But one day I saw her, man, and she had a little bruise, like a little scratch on her eye. So I said, hey, what's up with your eye? And so she said, nothing's wrong, nothing. I looked at him. I said, what's up with her eye? He said, I don't know. I said, man, I better not find out about no situations going on, man, or I'm going to have to handle this situation myself. And little did I know, wasn't even a couple of weeks after that, she broke up with that dude.
Now, one day, I was home. My daughter went on a little date. About 15 minutes later, she called me, Daddy, come pick me up. Where you at? I'm right here on Normandy and Redondo Beach. What happened? I'll tell you when you get here. I pick her up, jumped in the car, pajamas, whatever I was in, picked her up. He fired up a joint in the car with me. I don't do that. No problem, baby. No problem. So once they got their rules, you got to back them up 110% because everybody don't have rules. Some people just want to. Some young ladies just want to be accepted. And my daughter, nah, I ain't doing that. You can't smoke weed. I don't want to go smoking like weed. That ain't what I do. In fact, you gonna smoke and drive. We really gotta get me up out of here. Pull over. Let me out of here. So if you teach them right, you'll be all right. Now sometimes, boy, you can get. Because I was one of them good ones. I could fool the daddy. I get past the daddy like nobody's business.
Well, because you had home training. You know what I mean? There was a certain protocol that you knew had to take place, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
With my girls. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, with my girls, one of the things that I was always open with them. I'm still open with them. As I tell them, I'm your. Everyone needs that mentor, that older mentor. Yes, you came through me, but I don't own you. But I'm here to guide you always, right? And so my biggest thing with them was something I always reiterated was safety first, right? So whatever you do, safety first. You always got to think from a safe mindset. Who you hanging out with, what they're doing, how your reputation can be jeopardized, how your life can be jeopardized. Because I remember, man, growing up myself, and I'm quite sure we've all have stories of this. And man, I was in the car with a couple buddies, man, and we were heading over towards Carson, and we had this apartment unit. We go, man, it was a bunch of girls there. We would always go and hang out with, man, and we on our way there, and they make hit a side street, and next thing I know, man, one of them would jump out the car and about to try to steal this car out of this man's driveway, right? And so. Safety first, right? That was my last time being in that situation, right? And so even though they was my partners, safety first, meaning that man, this is not what I was, but I could have got caught up in that situation.
Right.
Didn't know my other buddy had a pistol, holding it towards the door if somebody came out. I was like, yo, what? Man, it was just on a whole different level. So safety first. It's okay to get out the car, do what you got to do, but safety first. And those are lessons that I learned, as growing up. And so I always talk to my girls just to be an open book, man. So you can never say you don't know. You can never say, oh, I accidentally got pregnant. No, you didn't. There's no such thing, right? No, you didn't. And so let's be real, right? I'm gonna be real with you, be real with me. There's no such thing as those things. And so I was that father. I'm still that father. But it was a challenge. I kind of want to make a point that Curry, to go back to a point that you said, man, about how to change your speech when speaking with girls. I'm in this graduate program for psychotherapy, and we had a session the other day, and I got critiqued on the session. And one of my things that they critiqued me on was that I asked a question. I reframed a question 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of just saying, "Hey, here's a question" or a thought, I always do it multiple times. And I had to reflect upon that. And I was like, yo, that comes out of my household from being the only male in the house, because if I just say it one time, it's going to be misconstrued and it's going to be taken all out of context. So what I have to do is keep reframing it. Therefore, so you can get the true meaning and my intention behind what I'm saying. And so I realized that's how I was reframed or reshaped, and so were you. So this is interesting.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's a trip, man, when y'all say that, because me, I'm I have my wife, and she and I we only have the 2 kids together, but and I got my boys, but my approach, man, like I said, I love this show, man. When we do this show, man, because it's always an eye opener, an aha moment. Mm-hmm. I don't reframe my words. It's just straight what I say. I'm going to say it, and if you take it the wrong way, let's have a conversation on what I said and what did I say that made you misunderstand where I was coming from. Because in my household, it's all about understanding. Yes. we gotta jump on understanding. If you didn't understand what I was saying, if I don't understand what you're saying, let's clarify it. Let's find out where the misunderstanding is at. And just, man, my 2 boys, like my oldest son, I mean, he pretty much said, "Man, Pops, I got to get up out of here, man. He went all the way on the other side of the country." Him all up. You know what I mean?
About for real.
Yeah. Man, the only time he called me, he's like, "Daddy, I need some advice, real quick." All right, that's all I need by. And baby boy, I talk to him every once in a while. But my daughters, it's funny, man, because they all. My oldest one don't have any kids, like you said, Shaq. My oldest is 36. Okay. And then my baby, she's 16. I'm making her get old too fast. She's 16. And then and I'm a grandfather of 10 grandchildren. Yeah, so man, man. Wow. 10. That's a lovely thing, though, man. When they get over here, man, it's on their attention. It's Pawpaw. Let's go out in the backyard. That's why I stay slim, because of them 10 grandkids.
That's cool.
But my girls, man, going back to them, it's always I do have to catch myself, because I'm not trying to be quote unquote an asshole. Right. But I am an asshole, because I'm an asshole because I want them to understand that I love you, and I love you for a reason. And I want you to know that as a man, I want to show you that a man can love you without even having any type of sexual interactions with you. So that when they do get with a man, they understand, man, my daddy loved me like this, and he was straight up with me. And, he was open with me. I told my girls I was a hoe. Daddy was young. If I seen a girl with a short dress on, my mouth got to drooling, and I got to schooling. And they was like, "Oh, that's how you was," and I was real with them. So, when you looking out for men, I know you want a man like your daddy, but you got to be careful, because your daddy was a hoe. So, when you out there looking for these men, look for a man that's going to conversate with you, going to have a conversation that's going to love you like your daddy do. So that way, that man truly loves you. This is that agape love and not that sexual love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, man. It's a good word.
Man, now, married, we said, in order to be married with children, you got to have a wife someplace. Let's talk about that situation. Everybody deals with things differently in their household, okay? I'm a tyrant. I'm a tyrant. Some people have partners. I want a partner, but I got to be a tyrant sometimes, because everybody don't understand what I'm talking about sometimes. And it's real hard, especially when you had everything prior to getting married. We don't have a lot of joint stuff. So I have a different attachment to things, okay? My cars, my house, everything. So it's really hard. And I don't expect anybody to do anything, because these are my things, okay? Things that I acquired before I was married. I know it sounds selfish. I know it does. But if you buy something, you invest in something, you have a different relationship with it And if people don't take care of it the way you do, it's real hard to accept that. I don't let anybody drive my cars. I don't share cars with my old lady. Nope, don't do it. I see how she do her cars. I don't share cars with her. Okay. I've given her cars. We've shared cars before, and they always come up looking different. And nobody ever know what happened. So I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I'm into cars. I'm into certain things, and I don't like raggedy cars. I don't like beat up cars, and her car's not beat up. And women don't take care of cars. Some women don't take care of cars the same way men do. That being said, everybody has their own way of handling things. Kurt, how you handle your things?
Well, I have a tendency to really kind of take ownership of the things that belong to me. I make sure that I set the expectation. If I'm letting somebody borrow something, I kind of set the expectation, but I don't let anything go. I don't let someone borrow anything that I'm not willing to accept, not ever seeing again, or being completely destroyed. If I feel like, nah, like your cars, and you're like, nah, I don't want this coming back messed up, I won't let anybody borrow it. But otherwise, I can always just replace whatever. Let
me say this before I let you go there. I've shared cars 3 different times, and 3 different times cars have come up destroyed or severely damaged, and with no support. So that's why I just don't do it. It's something a lesson I learned. Like I will not co-sign for nothing. I don't do that.
Right.
So based on my experiences, it's best for me not to. I'd rather help you get a rental car than to have to give you mine, because if mine go down, I got to get a rental car and you still don't have that. So that's just my situation. Everybody deals with it different.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, and that has made me where when I borrow something from somebody, I'm like just extra careful. I want to bring it back in meticulous condition, if not better than what they gave it to me, and that's just how it is. But that's just my philosophy. If I'm not willing to lose it, I'm not going to let you borrow it.
Okay. Yeah.
For me, okay.
Either one. Shaq.
Go ahead, Shaq. Here, Shaq.
What you're saying, Lonzo, is about boundaries, right? You kind of set a boundaries of what you will allow to go this way or not, right? Because in regards to the cars, if you're the only one that got to repair them and deal with that, then that becomes a drain for you, and whether it's financial, whether it's mental, and so you created that boundary where you want to allow yourself to go down that lane anymore, right? So so I understand it. For me, it's my household is always about, I have my things as well, and one of the things that I don't mind sharing anything, but my expectation was always that you bring it back, right? And so I hate looking for things, and I really hate looking for my stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm very meticulous about where I put things, right? Growing up, and part of my upbringing was, if the lights went out in your home, you should be able to know how to operate and get anything in your home, right? And so I still work from that idea. So everything has a place, right? So when I first come in the house, everyone knows the first thing I'm doing, kicking my shoes off, dropping my keys in a bowl, heading to my room, plugging my phone up, putting my wallet here, my watch there. And so that's how I operate. And so whatever you borrow from me in our household was, just make sure you put it back, right? Because if I have to look for my stuff that I allowed you to use, then we're going to have a problem, right? Because that's not comfortable for me, having to go and look for things that and also trying to teach them lessons. It's like, if someone allow you to use something, make sure you take extra care of it and bring it back in a better fashion, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how I operate in my household.
See me.
Go ahead.
I'm the exact I'm not saying I'm the exact opposite, but my wife, man, that was the reason why I married her. One, because she can cook, and two, when I got in her car, it was clean. I said, oh man, I ain't never met a woman like this. I'm gonna have to keep this one. But she know with me, I'm like Lonzo. My cars are my side pieces. I tell my wife in a minute, I'm gonna go out with my side piece. And she be, what? I'm like, my girlfriend. I'm going out here, and we get arguing. I said, you know what? I can go out here with my girlfriend on my side piece. And every time I stick the key in her ignition, she hit it for me. And she be and she don't talk back. And when I rub on her, she love when I rub on her. So my wife, she be, leave me. I'm going to with my side piece. You want to argue? We can argue. I put her in gear. We roll up out of here. So yeah. But that's how I am with my cars, man. And that woman, her car, man. I get in it. You know, I all the cars in the backyard, I wipe them out every night before I go to bed. That's just my therapy.
Okay.
And my wife, she loves to get in her car in the morning. And she loves when she go to work. All her friends like, girl, your car's so clean. She be, yeah, it is, girl. I love my clean car. And she keep the inside clean. Okay. So, hey, I love it, bro. I love it.
Old school care. That's what's up.
Amen. Man, you know, as we sit here and talk, I think we all thinking about different things because things trigger different thoughts sometimes. And who is the most responsible person in your household? Everybody has. Sometimes you go to a household and the woman is the responsible party. Homeboy, give her the money, give her his check, and just let her do what she got to do. And maybe I'll hit the check in. He go back in the back and to his man cave with a can of beer or a controller these days. And you don't see him again till it's payday again, or whatever the case may be. Who is I guess the responsible one in the household?
Me. I better not give my wife no daggone check. She come here, I'll be having Duke and Bernie and all these different purses all over the daggone house. Man,
you say you have what? Duke and what?
Duke and Bernie.
Whatever them purses is called, or whatever that stuff is. All them purses and shoes. Man, this woman, my wife, got a room. That's her closet.
Right.
My closet is a little bitty, it's the old school closet. I got my shoes and my clothes in that one closet. She got a whole room with clothes everywhere. And look, she bet, man, we be living we be out in the streets. That woman
living in a purse.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She be trying to get all them, whatever them things is, Jada Badas or whatever them purses is called. Whatever.
Now, my partner, well, a friend of mine's mom, she passed a few years ago, but I had so much respect for her because her husband worked. He didn't have a high paying job, but she was able to budget, invest, buy property, and homeboy, all he did was gave her check. She didn't think about no person. She always was about building some wealth. She bought a house in the apartment building next to her, and it just. I talked to her about that. What did you do? She says, I just, and again, we're not talking about a lot of money, but she just knew how to save and cut corners and make things happen so that she could reinvest in the family. And when she passed, she left her folks pretty well off. And that's always been something I admired. I don't see a lot of that these days. I hear about it. I don't see a lot of it.
In my household, I'm the one that sit down and manage the finances, right? I think in every relationship, everyone comes in with a certain amount of strengths and weaknesses, irregardless of gender or whatnot. But you come in, and so for me, I'm more conscious of finances, right? Numbers is my thing, right? Numbers don't lie. How you feel about it, I felt like I picked. Nope. Did you not? Is the money out the account? Then that dictates. So we don't have to have feelings about it. So numbers, that's why I love numbers, and they probably tired of me hearing the whole number speech in my household as the girls were coming up. But numbers don't lie. Numbers don't have feelings. Numbers are true and exact. And so I'm a numbers guy, and so I like to see where everything is going. That's been my thing. So in our relationship, I was the one that did that. And my wife, she's the one that she just deposits into the account, and I manage everything. And yes, I'm better at it, and she would say I'm better at it, right? And so that was one of the things that we decided upon roles within our household. Now, raising 3 daughters, we became very conscious of the messages that the girls were receiving when they were younger, right? Like, you know, they used to watch the Nickelodeon shows, and, you know, and I would sit down and watch with them, and it was just geared, you know, culturally it was different. You know, all the expectations of the girls was, we going to the mall, we going shopping, we're gonna buy this, we're gonna meet the cute boys, and it was just all these things for like 10, 11-year-olds, right? And this is who that the show was created for. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. And so I caught on really early that they was trying to teach them to be consumers, right? To be consumers of designer goods. And I was telling my daughters, look, girls have other interests other than just going to the mall to go shopping, right? Some of those interests are softball, basketball, whatever it is. It's just not pigeonholed to become little capitalists. And so we cut it off. So they could only watch television as they were growing up only on Saturdays after chores were done, because we tried to disengage them from that. And then with me, as they started working, was like, you know, we sat down and we came up with their financial plan, and each one of them, I was taught, save 50% of your money. So anything that you get, you put 50% of it away. And the bill, you know, as we speak about the bill boogeyman, when he jumps out, you got to throw money at him to make him go away. So those were lessons that I taught with my girls, especially because they was young women. And I see, if you don't have those conversations, what can happen on the back end, and how somebody's going to have to deal with that on the back end, right? It could probably spiral back to me if they're always in a financial situation. And so it was really big and very important for me to teach them about like financial independence. And so my oldest, she led the way. At 17, we came up with her financial forecast and her plan, you know, as she went off to college. And it's amazing to see that she's achieved all of that. But this is something we started with her at 17, you know, and part of that was like when she started driving, we never bought them a car. It was always our third car. We're going to allow you to drive our third car, right? And we pay the insurance, but if anything goes wrong with it, then you have to split the bill with us. And the first time it happened, my oldest got the brunt of it. She was driving the car. It cost $500. I asked her for $250. Now they all started working at 16, and she was blown away. And I was like, hey, this is that bill boogeyman we always talk about, right? Did you know this was going to happen? No, I didn't either, right? But because we got money stacked, the way we were able to deal with this problem, you know, because a mechanic only take cash. He don't take purses and handbags and shoes. And no, you got to get this man cash. So you always have to protect yourself that way. And that was one of the big values that I tried to employ and teach with my daughters.
Okay.
Excellent.
Everybody got ways of handling things. What you got for me, Kurt?
Oh man. You know, in my family, we always took responsibility for self. I'm really big on, you know, I especially for girls, I don't want you having to rely or lean on one particular person in order to be able to do things. So, you know, I was a big proponent on how are you managing your finances, and that includes my wife. You know, I take responsibility for myself and my finances, and she takes responsibility for hers, and we come together and we take care of things that we want to take care of together. And as far as the kids are concerned, it's the same thing. Okay, this is what I got. I got a car repair. I want to take this trip. I want to, you know, do this. I want to, you know, buy some furniture for my room. We look at, okay, well, what do you have? What are you making? You know, how much is it? Is that reasonable for what you're earning? You know, we have those kind of discussions where they can take complete responsibility over what they're doing instead of allowing one person to make the decision. I want them to be confident that they can make their own decisions. They know how to rationalize what's important and what's not, and how to work towards something. So that's that's what was going on in my household altogether. It wasn't, you know, hey, give me your check, I'm going to take care of the finances, etc. Everybody has very much been very responsible, 100%, you know, for taking care of it, the things that needed to be taken care of, and make sure payments are on time, etc.
Okay. Now, I got a question for y'all. A lot of parents, kids turn 18, you got to get out of my house.
That's boys, for real.
Okay, now, What's your philosophy on that, Kevin?
I can't. Well, but my oldest son, he did the same thing I did. He joined the military, got himself prepared. He said he wanted to do the things that he wanted to finish what I didn't finish. He joined the Marines just like I did. Baby boy, same thing. He wanted to join the Army like his uncle. But my girls, you know, um, my oldest two, three, they, being from the oldest two are being from different mothers, so they had they just got on their own because they didn't want to be in my house because they didn't want to be with my wife because they're not their mom. And then my second to the oldest, she was like, hey, um, she didn't want to be with mom because she like her and her mom always going toe to toe, so she got her own place. But I don't believe in kicking kids out, especially my girls, because once you put them out there on the streets, the streets is not cool for them girls. And they be like these girls on Long Beach, man, on Fed. Dude,
Right,
all it
right.
takes is one dude to come up there and say, hey, baby, I can do what since you out here, you look lonely. Like they see dudes sitting there on the trains, them pimps, sit there by the train stop looking for that one girl that's looking around. They're like, yeah, let me go get her. And I don't want my girls to be like that. So I always told them, home is always home. You need to come back home. I can negotiate with your mom. I may have to hide you a couple of hours so she won't see you. But home is always home, you know.
All right.
But yeah, it's I don't believe in that, man. My boys, yeah, it's like Kurt said. My boys, man, we gonna tough this out. I'm gonna show you how to. Cause when my kids was growing up, I was a hustler. I was doing lowrider bicycles. I was selling. I was out here selling, and I had my kids out there with me, and they was learning how to, go out here and make a hustle. Make some money legally, and they all of them, they know how to go out here and hustle and make that money and get it to where I can live. Uncle Sam may not know everything that's coming in, but I'm gonna make a living all based off what's legal and what I can do to get out here and survive.
All right. All right, man. Shaq?
I don't believe in doing that as well, because as long as you're being productive, right? And that was my thing. Now, you're not gonna sit at home and chill on me, because somebody got to pay the bill, right? If you're not paying it, somebody's paying it, right? So why should it be me once you become an adult? And so it's about setting them up, right? I believe usually when you hear that mentality, you got to go at 18. A lot of times the parents are not even preparing. This is me as an educator or whatnot. A lot of times the parents aren't doing their job to prepare the child to leave at 18. They want them out of their house so they can get their boogie on and do what they're going to do, right? But if you are a parent and you know your child and you're trying to put them in the best situation, uh, the timing may not happen at 18. It may happen at 19, 20, right? And so for me, yes, I want you to be going to 18, but that's usually because, in our household and our values was like, you got to be out doing something productive, laying down your foundation. You're not at home chilling, right?
Right.
Because I'm not here to take care of you legally. I'm not going to, and it's a slap in my face because of all the performances and all the lessons and track meets and all these things that we've done to invest in you, and you're not putting it to get use. Now I got a problem with that, right? But no, I don't think there's a definite deadline to putting them out there if they're being productive. I'm in a situation now where I have two home now. One graduated from college. She got a full-time job and working in her career, and now she's stacking up to buy her house or whatever she's going to do. I'm cool with that. My youngest is she's home, still in school full time. I'm cool with that. Both of them are working, so I'm cool with that. But the goal is to put your feet under you properly and then step out there. If not, they're just gonna be the cycle, and I think that does more harm than good. I'm not. I don't have. I'm not trying to kick them out the house so I can turn up and do what I need to do. That's not my goal. I'm still trying to put them in the best possible situation.
Okay. All good. All good. Um, you know, everybody on this panel got a different belief. How do you how do you manifest your household if there is some differences of opinions on common things like religion or politics. What happens if your wife is one way and you something else? You, say she's a Democrat and you're a Republican. Say you more of a spiritualist and she's a Christian. How do you how do you know? Because people change, people evolve. Sometimes you're like, okay, all right, we was over here. What happened? How did we get over here? As people evolve, how do you deal with the evolution of an individual?
Man, if we're not being productive, that's my key point. We got to be productive. Damn a religion, damn a political preference. If we can't be productive together, then we don't need to be together. I'm the attitude where I heard a cat say this before. He said, marriage is like two corporations coming together, and these corporations merge, and one is bringing one piece, one's bringing another piece, and we may be complementing, like Shaq said, we may be complementing each other's weaknesses. I got to strengthen something that she has weakness in. She got to strength where I got my weakness, and we come together and we grow. But that's me. I gotta have productivity. I don't need no woman in my life. She like a daggone crab in a bucket bringing me down. No, I need something. When we grow, we gonna grow together, and we gonna manifest something together. All the other stuff, no. I let a lot of women go because of that. Fine women, beautiful women, but they ain't had nothing. We couldn't do nothing together. They was all about themselves, or they was all about not being productive. And it's like, nah, you gotta go. Peace.
It really depends on what the differences are. If your differences are working against each other, then yeah, there's a huge problem. Sometimes you can have differences that doesn't bleed into your religious practice or your political preference, etc., and you guys can coexist. It's only when her perspectives or your perspective is punching holes in whatever goal that they're trying to achieve, whether it's financially, spiritually, educationally, or whatever the case may be. If their perspective on it is punching holes in whatever you're trying to do, then there's an issue. But a lot of times those differences can coexist. You're not always going to think the same. It's kind of cliche. Oh, I'm married. We're one person. That's BS. You're still two individuals. You still have two individual personalities and interests and so forth. Is how do you learn how to merge and keep, both mission statements, moving forward. So that's how I feel about it.
I was I I was talking to a friend of mine and doing this election. Him and his wife got some serious differences on who they're going to vote for, and he feels that she's supporting Kamala because she's a woman, black woman, and he feels that he's supporting Trump because he's an old white man, and it's causing some major conflict in the household.
Mm.
I had to ask that question because I could imagine that's just one or two. I know one or two like that, but I can imagine it could be a lot bigger problem nationally as we move closer to the election. And I'm just wondering how my panel, how you guys feel about that. My co-hosts, my guests, how y'all feel about that today, man? Because that could be a serious situation.
Well, I believe those two things can exist if the people know how to deal with conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, you can navigate it. You can have differences, and it's cool. We all have, but it's how do you navigate that, right? Now, it's like me. I don't argue. My wife, we don't argue, right? Because we realize that when you argue, somebody's just trying to be right. It's not about solving a problem, right? So if I say, hey, Kev, Kurt, Lonzo, hey, let's move this refrigerator over here. And you'd be like, nah, well, the steps are there. Maybe if we do it this way, we can talk it out. But it doesn't have to ensue into an argument unless I want you to do it the way I want you to do it, right? Mm-hmm. Which means that I want to be right and I want you to be wrong. That's when argument ensues. And so that's why I don't participate in arguments, right? So those two different opposing opinions can coexist in a natural, healthy position if we know how to deal with conflict, right? Some people always want you to feel the way they want you to want you to feel the way they are, and then that becomes a conflict, right? But if you realize, like, hey, you can do this, and and it doesn't affect me, cool. We've seen it in the generation before us. The woman is usually super religious, and the man is in the backyard smoking weed and dominoes, right? But they coexist. She don't go in the garage, mess with him. He don't go in her sewing praying room and bother her. They can coexist, right? But going to your question, I think Kev and Curtis made 2 points that really that I really agree with. Kev, you mentioned about productivity, right? It got to be productive, right? We have to be moving in the same direction, right? Curtis, you said goal, right? What's the goal? What's the goal in a relationship? What's the goal for our future? What's the goal for our retirement? What's the goal? Once that goal is identified, we both should be working towards that goal. If you're not working towards the goal, you're dead weight and you're holding me back, right? Mm-hmm. Now we have to have a different conversation. Mm-hmm. I think goal is always the thing. And maybe that word really sticks out to me now because I'm writing a book about goals, right? For parents, what's the goal of in terms of your parenting style? The goal is to have kids that turn out a particular way. So I'm very goal driven, right? And if we're not going towards the same goal, whatever you believe in, Alibaba, whatever it may be, if we're not going towards the goal, that's the issue, right? Mm-hmm. Not what you believe in, but what's the goal? If we're not going towards the same goal, then some reevaluation have to happen.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yep.
Alibaba, huh? I got that one. That's a good one.
Yes, Alibaba, yes, Temu, eBay, all of those.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's something I experience. On a regular basis, I see Amazon pull up my house. I think they ought to just put a damn depot in front of my house because the motherfucker here every damn day, okay? And that just drives me nuts. I'm trying. What else you trying to buy? What else you need at this motherfucker? I bought some stuff today, but I've been contemplating for this for a while, and I understand a lot of men experience this because Amazon is like Christmas. It's like Christmas. Santa Claus has dropped off a package in your front yard, and there's something new, okay? Mm-hmm. And to see, sometimes it might not get open for 4 or 5 days, but just the fact that it showed up, and I don't understand. I'm trying to understand some of the logic, some of the emotion behind it. But me and some brothers have had conversations before about how much Amazon just come to the pad. Just go ahead. Please help me out.
There's and this is the psychology behind it. There's a reason that people always have to buy new things, right? And it has to do with their emotions and their esteem, right? And so it becomes a negative trait, right? And so there's a condition behind it because for that split moment when you open that new thing, regardless of how much it costs, some people just have to have that new thing, right? And that's a condition, right? Because that feeling, the feeling may be there because you don't have a lot, and so this is the new. This is almost like people with the eating condition. Maybe we understand that more, right? Some people you're like, man, how did they eat to get so big, right? But some people, their comfort is in eating, right? And it's not about nutrition. It's not about looking at the damage that it's going to cause. It's about that instant gratitude, right? And people do that with retail as well. There's studies on that. About how to get people to buy more, even if it's just small. They give giveaways just to spark you start buying more. They're saying give you something free just so you can open up, and it feels like Christmas every day. But it becomes a condition, man, that's maladaptive for that individual.
What's that word you just used, man? Maladaptive?
Maladaptive.
Yes.
Yes.
Adaptive behavior. Yep. Bad behavior.
That's psychology training. Maladaptive.
Right.
Explain that to me, please. Right.
Yes.
I wanted to add something to that the Amazon conversation. I felt like a recycle center, at my house because the boxes of my wife never breaks down a box. It just be stacks of empty boxes all over the house, and I'm cutting and stomping and and folding those bad boys up, put it in a recycle can. And I'm like, why do you buy so much from Amazon? What's going on? And she said, well, I don't like having to go to the grocery store to buy big things of toilet paper or buy drinks or buy snacks. Amazon has made it like so convenient to just buy anything, with the exception of like dairy or whatever. But now they have Amazon Fresh to be able to do stuff like that, where she doesn't really have to go to the store except for essentials. So all that stuff coming in, it's my grocery shopping. It's my grocery shopping. Yeah, she kind of slips in some other stuff that she wants, but at the same time, for the most part, it was like supplies, this stuff that we use on a daily, cleaners and and things of that sort. So, I had to kind of back off from it. Still didn't appreciate busting on boxes all the time, but I kind of understood what the deal was. It was just a convenient, her managing her time, making it more effective where she didn't have to go to the store, or ask me to go do that, or stand in line at Costco because there's 50,000 people there in line trying to get cheese. She just simplified it, so I just kind of chilled out. And yeah, I called a couple of times that there was some stuff in there like, why'd you buy this? Or where'd you get that from? That wasn't necessarily household stuff, but yeah, I get it,
And I asked my wife, I said, you and the daggone Amazon man having an affair or something? All these daggone boxes keep on popping up in my daggone house. What's going on here?
I have to use Amazon because a lot of stores I used to patronize are no longer exist. Fry's, Radio Shack, they don't exist no more. And right. I used to enjoy going to Fry's on Sunday mornings. Okay, mm-hmm. Fry's was the man's Toys R Us.
Yes,
you go to Fry's because you get that paper. And we was talking about this the other day doing one of our walks. First thing Sunday morning, you get that Fry's paper on your email, and you go shopping. Mm-hmm. Oh shit! I can get a hard drive. I can get a jump drive. I can get this new monitor. And you had to get dressed, go to Fry's. Because Fry's be bullshitting sometimes. They only got a certain amount. Right. Okay. You got to get there early, and that was part of the I guess the illusion of Fry's attraction for me personally, and even some of my buddies. My buddy would call me, "Hey man, Fry's got so and so, I can't go. You go get me one." That kind of situation. Mm-hmm. Amazon kind of takes that away from you because it was a way to get out of the house. Sometimes it was a family trip, me and my son, whatever the case may be, hop in the car, little father-son time, whatever the case may be. But Amazon took that away from us. And I still like going to Costco. I enjoy Costco. Don't ask me why, because one thing about Costco, if you go to Costco looking to spend $200, you're going to spend $300. You're looking to spend $100, you're going to spend $150. You have to have some kind of Costco discipline. I've learned that over the years, how to discipline. I don't give me nothing to eat. I'm going to I know my drawers. I like Costco drawers. I'm waiting for Costco drawers. I ain't going to the tool department. I don't want to be no batteries. I love Costco drawers. Okay, them 36, 32 degrees.
Hey, where are the Costco drawers, man?
Costco drawers, 32 degrees.
Hey, have reached that point in his life, right?
Yeah, I appreciate Costco drawers, man.
Costco.
My favorite place store. My favorite place is Harbor Freight. When I go to Harbor Freight, man, angels started singing when I walk through the door. Oh, I'll be
I can't even go back no more. I got so much. Here we talking about women. We bad as they are. I got shit too. I took out the box yet. And it was on sale though. I mean, here we are. Sound like some old ass women. I guess we got our problems too. This is the kind of shit we want to talk about on mentality. Yeah, we all got our ups and downs. We all got our crazy ass habits and idiosyncrasies. Yeah, we just like women like Target. We love Harbor Freight. Okay, they call you, man. Buy a screwdriver, get 50 rolls of tape. I don't need no screwdriver. I'm gonna get that tape. Same shit, man. Same shit. If they delivered, we'd really be screwed, man. Come on,
we'd be jacked up if they delivered.
If Harbor Freight delivered, we'd be jacked up. Hey, folks, believe it or not, that hour that passed by, man. It's time to go. Shaq, thanks for coming sitting with us, Doc. Tell them how to find you, man.
Let me come back. Open the door. Open the door. I love it.
Tell them how to find you, Shaq.
Oh man, you can find me at Shakir Studios at Instagram.com.
Kurt, tell them how to find you.
Yes, sir. You can find me at Midlife and Times. And don't forget to subscribe to Mentally Talk on Instagram.
Kevin Collins.
Definitely. Back on that Mentality Talk. Please subscribe. Ed, you can catch me at Convo with Kev on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm there, baby. Just look me up.
Find me at Real Alonzo NWA chat room. Thank y'all for tapping in, folks. I see you out there, Marlon, STEM Radio. Who else joined us today? I see my girl, Lady Like in the house, and business. I can't make out the name, but it's business something or another. Much love to all my folks for the chat room. In the meantime, folks, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of Mentality, folks. Thank y'all for watching.